in college hoops as 16th-ranked Texas Tech knocked off number 4 Iowa State on the road 82-73. West Virginia beat 19th-ranked BYU 79-71, and St. Mary's came out on top against 9th-ranked Gonzaga 70-59. Today in hoops, the 13th-ranked Lady Buckeyes are kicking off the day with their game against Michigan State at noon. Then the men's team have an opportunity against another high-quality opponent at 1:30 when they host the 8th-ranked Purdue Boilermakers. Pre-game coverage begins right here on The Fan at 12:30. And in the NBA, the Cavs are on the road at 3:30 taking on the Brooklyn Nets. Right now, James Harden is questionable while Donovan Mitchell and Dean Wade are listed as out.
Live and local, it's time for Fan Sports Sunday. If the weekend is a big desert for sports talk, think of this show as an oasis.
Yes, here we go.
Come drink from our pool of hot takes as you quench your thirst with. I thought I was going somewhere, but I'm not. So let's just start the show.
All right, big weekend in Central Ohio. The only problem is we're looking like we're drawing zeros. Cole Bartimas, Dylan Gonzalez, Isaiah Jacob, Fan Sports Sunday. Appreciate you tuning in. I guess it's not technically a zero because the Jackets did get 1 point last night with the Islanders in town with an overtime loss, although that wasn't very good. But Dylan, you were in the building, and I believe this was the first home game since Zach Werenski participated in the gold medal game, correct?
Correct.
And so we had a big celebration going on there. What was the atmosphere like in that building?
So before the game, they honored all the Olympians on both the Jackets and the Islanders, and that was pretty cool. And they obviously ended it with, lights dim down, spotlight on Zach, play the highlight of the gold medal game. Crowd goes wild. Sold out crowd at Nationwide, by the way.
There you go. I was told that it was
on the seats.
I was told that it was an organized sort of event for the crowd.
Yes, it was.
I heard our bar was going crazy down there in the Arena District.
It was
and that's as good as it got.
Yes, it was a very not organic playoff atmosphere. They tried to force it. And I mean
hold on. Now I got to check you on that one. Well, see, this is what we talk about on Rothman and Ice on our Monday through Friday day part, where Rothman's got the beard going and he keeps talking about when he's going to trim it down. And I'm like, dude, you got to have your playoff beard on because the Jackets are just always in playoff mode. That's kind of how this organization's been, the years that they've actually been competitive, because there have been some not so competitive years.
Right, like 7 and 8 years ago, but go ahead.
Right.
Continue.
But I'm saying now, when you're kind of like chipping away at the wild card, and with this loss to the Islanders, you now find yourself 3 points back of the Capitals, who would be the first team out.
Yes.
So with you being tied for the second team out, with I think it's with Ottawa that
Correct.
you're tied with.
Yes.
And so you are kind of in automatic playoff mode. So it feels like a playoff atmosphere, you would think. But yeah. I know you're kind of like a Jackets hater.
They write me checks. I was working there yesterday.
Okay.
I can't be a complete Jackets hater.
No, you're not an entire, and you're not a Jackets hater for no reason. Look, this organization, I'll say it, not you, has given this fan base basically nothing in 20-something years. And I understand that the rules of the expansion draft, the change and all that, and so, the Vegas Golden Knights coming in, they came in with a lot more steam than the Jackets did in the early 2000s, but you've had 25 years to figure it out, and you got one playoff series victory in the entire time. So we understand, Bill Simmons, the whole most relevant franchise, whatever, but you are kind of in a position where these games, when you're not even really a playoff caliber team, but just trying to backdoor your way into the 8th seed, those are kind of the playoff atmospheres that this fan base is accustomed to.
So
that's kind of the best that we got sometimes.
So when they play their next home game this week, I forget when it is. I think Thursday.
I'll look it up.
Are we gonna have a sold out crowd with towels on Thursday night as well? I don't think so.
Probably not with the towels.
Tuesday against Nashville is when they play at home again.
Okay, but they went all out primarily because of, I assume, the Zach Werenski angle, gold medal, picking up some of that momentum.
People were going to be stoked about that. They wanted to come honor Zach.
And they did.
Here's the thing with them, okay? They had the win streak going into the break, and then they've lost 2 in a row coming out of the break. And here's all you hear from people that cover the team and even some coaches and players. When it comes... the coaches and the players aren't saying, they're not complaining about the break. I won't say that. But some of the people covering team are like, man, they were hot, and this break just ruined all their momentum. Cool. The whole league went on the same break. Then after that, I keep hearing,
good point.
oh, it's been 2 games since the break and we've only had 1 power play and we've had some bad bounces and we're creating chances. We're just not finishing.
Are you teeing me up to play a drop right now?
Yes.
Okay. Is it the first page or the fourth page?
First page.
Okay. I don't have it ready.
It's loser talk.
It is.
That's what that is. It's built-in excuses. I just don't want to hear it anymore. You got yourself back into contention with that win streak, and now you're getting people excited thinking that you can make the playoffs. I don't want to hear bad bounces and we need more penalty calls and all that nonsense.
Oh, here we go.
Just start. There you go. Just start winning some games. Start tomorrow.
Oh, that's the
in New
Paul
York.
Feinbaum lady you were telling me about.
Yes. Yes.
And there's more.
Loser mentality.
Yes. And
Who's that?
That's actually Charlie Coyle.
Okay. Oh,
From our Columbus Blue Jackets.
That's right.
Yes. I'm super frustrated with this team. I mean, they're 5 games out of a playoff spot. We still have a whole month and a half left of the season, so I'm not going to go super dramatic and say because they lost yesterday, they're not making the playoffs. But they played 2 teams that they were one spot behind in their division and 1 spot behind in the wild card, and they lost both of them. Those are the type of games that good teams, that playoff teams win.
I know, and then there's not enough of an argument to be made about the whole like puck luck thing and a few bounces here, a few bounces there.
I just
and
have heard that for 25 years.
I know,
all.
And there was a little bit of that last night. But the problem is that when you take the 2-0 lead and then you give up 3 goals within a 6-minute stretch?
Yeah, they're up 2-0. And then I remember someone texted me and said, how's the game going? I said, they're up 2-0. And then 8 minutes later, I texted them, it's tied at 2. 8 real life minutes, not game minutes.
Yeah, and the Islanders did get a couple goals where there were some fortunate caroms in there. But the problem was it was 3-3 at the end of the second. You had a whole third period and did nothing with it.
Right.
And so when you lose the game in overtime, it's kind of just what you get.
And Adam Fantilli, he got beat
way out of position on that final play.
And he knew it. He said it after the game. He talked about it after the game. He took responsibility for that, so I'll give him credit for that. But he still was someone, too, who was like, man, when the puck bounces like this and it bounces off someone's pad and then the skate and yada, yada, it's just, I'm tired of hearing that. I'm tired of hearing it.
Well, the problem is, yes. First of all, Isaiah, great haircut, by the way, buddy.
Thank you. I got this one yesterday.
You're welcome.
Nice.
I could tell that it was a fresh fade. So there we go. Isaiah is cleaned up, dressed to the nines, and ready to go for some Sunday morning radio. The problem is, it's not going to get much better in this city because, as the authority, John Rothstein, put it, I believe on Twitter this morning, he said that Ohio State's tournament hopes hang in the balance of how they handle number 8 Purdue today. And got to be honest with you, a 6.5-point dog at home. The standard in college basketball for me is just pick whoever the home team is.
Yeah.
But there are some exceptions to that rule. And when it's Purdue, a top 10 team, one of the best teams in this conference, I'm not so confident in that happening. So if John Rothstein is correct, which I'll trust his college basketball eye over mine, then the season is ending today.
All right. We talked about this a little bit last week. I feel like the term must win is just thrown around way too much in sports. I've heard people saying that this team has been in must win mode for pretty much the whole month of February. And it's just not true because if they win today, none of those games in February that they lost really matter. And even if they lose today, we're going to talk to Reimer a little bit later. Even if they lose today, I still think there's a path. I mean, they would probably get the 9 or the 10 seed in the Big Ten tournament. They would play a really bad team. They would technically get a bye. They would play a really bad team in the first round, and then they would play someone like an Iowa or UCLA in the third round, their second game.
It'd be UCLA.
Yes.
And they've already beaten, but it's hard to beat a team twice.
Right. So here's the thing. If they lose today, that's when I think we don't need to go that far. I've heard that Diebler is Purdue's kryptonite for the past 2 years. So we'll see. But
because of one game.
Right. But I'm not saying I agree with it. That's just what I'm hearing. But if they lose today, then that's when everyone can say all the games for the rest of the season are a must win. They would need to beat Penn State. If they lose to Penn State, then burn the program to the ground and start over again. But they would need to beat Penn State. They would need to beat Indiana that last game of the season, which isn't a gimme either. Indiana and Ohio State are right next to each other in the net rankings. They're pretty close to each other when it comes to the bubble talk. So that would be a huge game. And then they would probably have to at least win 2 games in the Big Ten tournament if not 3 if they end up losing to Purdue today, which why would we trust them to do that either?
Right, and I agree with you. The term must win is thrown around too much, so I guess that I shouldn't, jump the gun on that, because I do think that if once you start saying must win, you can call for must win games in November if you wanted to.
Right.
So some people get way too liberal with that. But I agree with you. Technically not a must win. If you want to get super, super technical, not that I want to, but technically you can go over in the entire regular season and still make the tournament if you just run the table in the conference tournament. But let's have like some sense of realism here.
Right.
And so with the final schedule now, as you mentioned, having Penn State on deck and Indiana in the hole, here's the thing, though, with Purdue entering this game. And how do we want to spin this angle? Because Purdue has lost 2 of their last 3. But the 2 were to really, really good teams. They lost to Michigan, who at the time was the top-ranked team, or I believe now was the top-ranked team in the country. And they also, or I should flip that back, I think at the time. But with Michigan State, they just lost this game. And so you can't get like the Super Bowl hangover Purdue team, where if Purdue had just beaten Michigan State in a really close game in which they lost by 2 points, then you could somehow in your like Buckeye fan mind say, oh, they just had a really big win. They're coming off the high. They're coming into our place. We need it more than they do. You can kind of like spin that in your favor.
Maybe catch them sleeping.
Yeah, but and these are all the cliches. And you can throw out a million cliches to make any sort of argument you want to. But with Purdue having lost 2 of their last 3, particularly their last game against Michigan State in a 2-point game, you think you're probably going to get a ticked-off team who's trying to get right before the Big Ten tournament. So I don't think it's going to be looking very good today.
No. I mean, they're going to have to earn it today. They're going to get a fully focused Purdue team today at the shop.
As you said, that would put the Buckeyes in 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th place in the Big Ten right now. However, that final game against Indiana could be for that 9th seed, and we'll see who gets 9, who gets 10. Either way, it's probably going to shake up just the same. Multiple teams in the state are under the microscope, and we're getting some good content from some unlikely sources. We'll talk about it next Fan Sports Sunday.
If you consider yourself a Buckeye fan, you've come to the right place. This is your heritage sports talker and home of Ohio State Athletics, The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Men, we all know how important sex is in a relationship, both for you and your partner. But erectile dysfunction ruins sex, which can often have serious impacts on your relationship as well. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, and if ED is a problem in your life, you understand the impacts it has on you and the one you love. But I'm here to tell you that ED is a treatable condition, and almost without exception, you can have really good sex again. At Tri-State Men's Health, we're experts in treating ED. We've treated tens of thousands of men with protocols that are effective in well over 90% of cases, which means if you're like most guys, good sex will be the norm. You could even last up to an hour or more and bring a level of intimacy for you and your partner that might just astound you both. It's time to have really good sex again, so call us. Just $99 gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com. We have 6 offices in the tri-state area to serve you.
It's March. Send it in, big fella. That means the greatest sports weekend of the year is coming, and the best place to set the puppies and watch the tournament is at Hollywood Casino Columbus. I'm Scotty Vegas, and Thursday through Sunday opening weekend, kiss the kids goodbye and hang out from noon to 5 with the Fan at the Hollywood Casino Sportsbook. A Bill Raftery impersonation contest, free throw games, free shirts, and more. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem, call 1-800-589-9966. Onions!
I'm Yolanda Harris. I'm a journalist at 10 TV News. I grew up here, and after 25 years of telling this community's stories, this place still means so much to me. When I'm not in the newsroom, I'm usually out supporting the same people and causes I care deeply about. I don't just report about our community, I belong to it. What happens here affects us all, and that's why we care so deeply about getting it right. And when local journalism is done right, it doesn't sit still. It moves. It moves you to act, to verify, to volunteer, to speak up or lend a hand. It moves your mind by challenging assumptions and offering new perspectives. It moves you forward by giving you the information to make decisions and thrive where you live. And yes, it moves your heart through the kind of human storytelling that stays with you wherever you are. And at 10 TV, we're here for all of it. These are the stories that move Central Ohio.
Columbus, you hungry? Good thing Uber Eats has a great deal waiting for you at Old Bag of Nails. From now until March 31st, get a buy one, get one free deal on burgers on the app. Order now, only on Uber Eats. Terms apply. See app for details.
At Newman Roofing, we believe every detail matters, which is why we have over 1,000 five-star Google reviews from families all across Central Ohio who have put their trust in Newman Roofing for their roofing, siding, and gutter projects. Call 614-NEW-ROOF or visit newmanroofing.com today.
Hi, it's Common Man.
And T-Bone.
Pizza Madness is coming for your face.
Yeah, the brackets will be revealed March 2nd.
Why can't I say it?
I don't know.
PizzaMadness.pizza to suggest your favorite pizza place.
It's all brought to you by Billiards Plus.
Get Eco.
Hey, Aaron, what are those? Those are what are known as toilets, Jerry. I know they're toilets, but why are they sitting back to back like bookends? Congratulations, Jerry. You said the magic word.
Get Eco.
Bookends? Bookends is the magic word? Take a seat, Jerry. I choose this one. A good choice. That is the world's most luxurious toilet. Really? How much is it? $6,500, including installation. What? For $6,500, this thing would have to iron my shirts, shine my shoes, and sing happy birthday to me.
Get Eco.
It does way more than that, Jerry. I'm switching to the other one. How much is this one? $650, including installation. Wow, that's a great deal. What does it do? It does exactly what you would expect, Jerry. Huh. From $650 to $6,500. Eco has a toilet for everyone. Give it away, plumbers, genius electricians, and you can always trust our HVAC technicians. GetEco.com.
Veterans and active duty service members, when your call to service ends, your mission doesn't have to. Go from GI to IT in just a few months at My Computer Career. Prepare for a high-demand career in cybersecurity, protecting people, systems, and institutions from real cyber threats. Cyber warriors are needed now. Will you answer the call? Go to mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to learn more. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an Elite CompTIA certification partner. VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
Your child's oral health milestones matter. By age 1, see a pediatric dentist to establish good oral health habits. At 7, see an orthodontist to check your child's bite, teeth, and jaws. Around 15, visit an oral and maxillofacial surgeon to have your child's wisdom teeth examined. Remember, milestones met, healthy teeth set. Visit milestonesmet.org.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Mostly sunny skies on the forecast here for today, but it is going to be a lot colder with highs only in the upper 30s. As we look ahead to tomorrow, we could see some light snow showers in the morning, mainly south of I-70, highs in the lower 40s, and then we're back up into the 50s here on Tuesday, but rain is likely, and we are going to be tracking more rain here for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And that's a look at your 10 weather impact forecast. I'm meteorologist Aaron White here on 97.1 The Fan.
Just when you thought afternoons couldn't get any dumber.
You fellas been doing a bit of boozing, have you?
Common Man and Timmy.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
Your home for dumb. The Fan. We firmly believe it's appropriate to tailgate before a youth soccer game. You're listening to Fan Sports Sunday.
So one thing that I don't like is just kind of arbitrary milestone points. Like, for example, when I was doing radio in St. Louis, we had Adam Wainwright's whole final year of his career was about chasing his 200th win. And I'm like, what's the difference? And his career doesn't change if he finishes with 198 versus 200.
Right.
Like, those 2 wins don't make him any different of a pitcher for his 17-year career or whatever he had. And so, these arbitrary milestones where if, you hit it, it's a big deal. And if you don't, then it's a disappointment. It's what's the difference? And I'm finding out that as I'm trying to figure out this whole matrix of quad 1s versus quad 2s versus quad 3s and all of the rules as to this is the math that we're determining which teams make the NCAA tournament based off of. And so it's easier for me to read than for listeners to hear. So I'm not just going to list a bunch of numbers at you.
Right.
But just take my word for it. It's super specific. I'll give you one, for example. So a quad 1 win could be, if for home games that you win, one of the top 30 teams in the country. However, Ohio State's best home win would be against Wisconsin.
Correct.
Who's 32nd. So what's the difference between a team being the 30th best team and the 32nd best team in the country? Not a whole lot. However, so they're 2 spots out, but if they were just 2 spots up, that would be another quad one win for Ohio State because Ohio State beat Wisconsin at home.
Right.
And so you have who just decided that only the top 30, and of course these all have like perfectly round numbers where it's like 1 through 30, 31 through 75, and like all this stuff like that. And so you have all of these perfectly round numbers where in the grand scheme of things, Wisconsin basically is a quad one win. It's not, but the fact that they're just 2 spots out, and again, you got to have like a cutoff at some point.
Right.
But these numbers kind of just look arbitrarily chosen because they look nice. And it's different based off like if you beat a team at home versus if you beat a team on away. Like who calculated that a top 75 win on the road is equivalent to a top 30 win at home? Like this stuff looks kind of made up a little bit.
Yeah, like their one quad win that they have keeps fluctuating because, like you said, a quad one win on the road is a win between teams 1 through 75 in the net, and Northwestern is 72nd right now, and they've been bouncing around that 75 spot all year. You can't tell me that a win against Wisconsin at home or a win against Indiana at home, that last game of the season, is just as good or less than a win on the road against Northwestern. I just think if you use your common sense, you would think that beating Wisconsin or Indiana at home is better than beating Northwestern on the road. But according to this garbage net ranking stuff that I wish they would abolish now, a win against Northwestern is better, even though Northwestern stinks.
No, you're absolutely right. So by beating Northwestern, who comes, again, I'm trying not to just list numbers at people because it's easier for me to read than it is for you to hear. But basically, like Northwestern is 72nd, but because you beat them on the road, that qualifies as quad one.
Right.
Wisconsin's 32nd, you beat them at home, that's not quad one. So it's like, it's just this goofy math.
Yes.
That both teams are also like on the border. And so like Wisconsin, and I guess like it's BS for BS because Wisconsin's barely out, Northwestern's barely in.
Right.
And so I guess if you just meet it in the middle, then okay, it's fair.
Yeah.
And you know, if you give it a week, maybe it's going to be the opposite. Maybe Wisconsin's going to creep in, maybe Northwestern's going to fall out. But like this is math that significantly impacts who makes the tournament. And that to me is just like it's not entirely based on this. And it also just doesn't make sense to me how we get bent out of shape over like you need 1 or 2 quad one wins, and it's like, okay, well, Ohio State's record in the quad one as a whole would be like 1-7 or like 1-8 or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, that's still not very good. So like, congratulations, you got 1 or 2, but you're still overall bad. And so that gets into the whole conference bias thing where I don't think we need 10 teams from the same conference. Like, yeah, we got 68 teams, so we got to fill the bracket with teams.
Right.
But like 10 teams from the same bracket, I'm somebody who now is kind of focusing in on this Miami of Ohio conversation where the Red Hawks are still undefeated. And I checked their betting odds this morning. They are favored to finish the regular season undefeated. But yet and still, there's conversation out there that if they run the table in the regular season in the MAC, what happens if they don't win their conference tournament? Is this going to be a 1-bid league or a 2-bid league? And here is Bruce Pearl talking about that subject.
Miami, Ohio, here's the deal. Are we going to select the 68 most deserving teams, or are we going to select the 68 best teams? If we're selecting the 68 best teams, then Miami, Ohio is going to have to win their tournament to qualify as a champion. Because as an at-large, they are not one of the best teams in the country. And that's going to be a difficult choice for the committee to make.
So we can find ourselves in a position where Ohio State and Miami are actually like competing for the same spot in the tournament.
Right.
And so, and I think that would land in Miami's favor, at least as of now. Easier to say, but that's also because I'm assuming Miami's going to win their conference, and I'm assuming that Ohio State, not the, make a mountain out of a molehill. The Iowa game was only 1 game for Ohio State, but when you lose by 1 million, seemingly, that leaves a bad taste in everybody's mouth, especially when we know that there's a lot of recency bias in this stuff. For whatever that is worth in this circumstance. But I don't understand how a Miami of Ohio team could run. Well, I do understand because their math is bad. Like all this quad 1, quad 2 stuff, like a lot of their opponents, they got one team that could even be considered quad 1 possibly in Akron, but they're not because they played them at home. So the parameters are all different. But we don't need, if you finish 10th in your conference, and let's say you don't pick off any teams in the conference tournament who are above you. So, for example, if Ohio State does win a conference tournament game, it's probably going to be against like the 15 seed or something like that. So I don't think you or I would give them much credit for that.
Right. It would be against a team like Oregon or Maryland or Penn State.
Yeah. And we're about to see Penn State. We just saw them beat the you-know-what out of Maryland recently, and I believe they picked up a win against Oregon on the road earlier this season as well. But I don't understand how if a team runs the table, and I don't care what conference it's in, honestly, and not all conferences are created equal, I would never, ever, ever suggest that the MAC would be anywhere near the Big Ten. And so, yes, Miami has an advantage playing a bunch of weaker opponents than Ohio State, or, pick any other bubble team in a bigger conference you want. But do we really need the 10th best team from the Big Ten or wherever instead of a team that ran the table the entire regular season and just had a bad shooting night or whatever in the conference tournament in the MAC?
So
no.
Here's where Bruce Pearl's argument is, and I think his argument might be a little biased, and here's why. Was it last year that he just retired and gave his son the team, or was it the year before? Regardless, whenever it was, his son's coaching Auburn right now, right? Mm-hmm. Auburn is in 11th place in the SEC. They're 6-10 in conference, 15 and 14 overall on the bubble. Right now, probably in the tournament because they play in the SEC, which is perceived as the best conference in basketball. So I think he's trying to make an argument for teams like Auburn that are like, Auburn, in theory.
Are you saying Auburn?
Auburn.
Okay, thank you.
Auburn would run the table in the MAC.
They
hypothetically
would.
So he's saying, even though Miami has this undefeated record that looks good, what would it be, 32-0?
Yeah,
whatever,
like
how many regular season games there are. That Auburn winning 7 or 8 games in the SEC is more impressive than Miami running the table in the MAC. That's his argument.
Right, based off of quad one nonsense.
Yes. And I don't know. I'm not saying I feel one way or the other about it. I don't know.
I feel one way. I'm defending the Red Hawks right now, just so you know.
What would Miami do if you dropped them in the SEC? I don't know the answer to that.
Probably lose every single game. Yes.
I know the answer.
Probably lose every single game.
I know the answer because Miami beat Western Michigan by 8, and Ohio State beat them by 30. And this Ohio State team barely deserves to be in the tournament. I know.
And so here's another thing, by the way, how Northwestern is Ohio State's quad one victory. And again, we don't need to, I know that this is just like a name and stuff like that to people. I don't need to go over the numbers with everybody. It's confusing. But your quad one victory, albeit on the road, and it's tough to win on the road in college basketball. We all know that. So I'm giving you credit for that. It's against a team that is below 500 overall, which is hard to do. And they're also, 5-13 in conference play? That's the win that, is kind of what Ohio State would be hanging its hat on right now. Now, obviously, the Wisconsin win would help. I know it doesn't qualify as quad one, but it basically is. And so whatever, but...
Well, what I think college football experts or college basketball experts would tell us is that net rankings aren't everything. The quad one, quad two thing isn't everything. They still have a committee that's deciding on these teams.
It's not everything.
Though that is a metric that they use to help them decide that is not the end all be all of who gets in the tournament. But I think it's, if you think about it perception wise, that's what why are we talking about it? Because
it's all anyone is talking about.
Right. So it is a big factor. And I just think it's a very flawed system.
It matters. That's all I'm saying. If it came down to it, if it came down to Ohio State versus Miami, I'm backing the Red Hawks on that one. No one man should have all that power, except for the three of us, because we are going to fix everything in 2 minutes. Stick around, Fan Sports Sunday.
Need a roof you can count on? Ramos Roofing has protected homes and businesses throughout Ohio for almost 20 years. Whether it's a leaky roof, storm damage, new siding, or new gutters to protect your foundation, Ramos Roofing delivers quality materials, professional installation, and honest service every time. Get your free roof or exterior assessment today and ask about Ramos Roofing's no-interest financing options. Call 614-761-7663 or visit online at ramosroofingohio.com.
It's been a real journey since 2014 when I first had my injury. I realized that my home was just not working for me and that it was time to ask for help. Homes for Our Troops is really giving me my life back. The shower allows me to go in and turn around with my chair, pull down storage racks, automated door systems, hours of my morning given back to me. Adaptive sports are a huge part of my life, a huge part of my healing journey as well. Homes for Our Troops helped with making sure that I had a home gym so that I can continue to train. This past year, I was able to host Thanksgiving in my home. And it was the first time I was able to have my whole family in one place, and I was able to contribute to the meal. There are a lot more veterans in need, and Homes for Our Troops is going to be there to help them too.
Homes for Our Troops builds and donates specially adapted custom homes nationwide for severely injured post 9/11 veterans and enables them to rebuild their lives. Join our mission at hfotusa.org.
Looking to sell your home? Don't pay 6% commission. Call my guys at Sell for 1% Realtors. They're full service, not a do-it-yourself kind of thing. On average, customers save over $10,000. Give them a call, 614-451-6616. That's 451-6616.
We got a higher home appraisal after we put away our African art and family photos.
Has this happened to you because of race or national origin? Contact HUD at hud.gov/fair housing. A message from HUD and the National Fair Housing Alliance.
T-Bone and Tyvus are everything you want in a delicious breakfast. Lots of empty calories, no nutritional value.
Weekday mornings from 6 to 9.
The Fan. Garnish your Bloody Mary with sports talk. You're listening to Fan Sports Sunday.
Piggybacking off that last conversation, John Rothstein is tweeting about Christoph Tilly is listed as questionable for today's game against Purdue.
Great. I don't care if he plays or not, to be honest.
I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference.
Someone in the YouTube chat said, you can't tell me if Ohio State was in the MAC that they would be undefeated. I don't know the answer to that question, but I'm telling you,
They have a really good shot.
If Ohio State played Miami today, or if Auburn played Miami today, the folks in the desert would have the teams from the power conferences favored over Miami. I would almost guarantee that.
I would guarantee that. Like, if
I'm
they
not
just
saying that
played
should
one
matter.
game.
I'm not saying that should matter when it comes to the resume, but like we heard Bruce Pearl talk, if you're trying to get the best teams in there, and when it comes to college basketball and college football, I'm very big on what the resumes are and what the results of the game should matter over anything else. So I don't care if you think this team is better than that team. If they underachieved all year and their resume isn't what it should be, then get them out of here. But I'm just saying,
the tough game about that, though, is that not all conferences are created equal.
Right, and that's why this is a debate, because it's like, are the 10th and 11th best teams in the Big Ten and the SEC better than the best team in the MAC, which is Miami this year? I don't know the answer to that.
Well, here's the problem: we have too many teams that are given 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th chances at championships.
Right,
which is why CFP expansion is a ludicrous idea. Because if you play a regular season where you play, it used to be you play almost your entire conference in conference play, but now the conferences are so big, now you can't really do that. But if you get to the point where, and I guess it's different in basketball, just with the entire format of the schedule and how many games you're able to play.
Right.
But with football, if you're one of the fourth or fifth teams in your conference, you've already shown in the regular season that you are not a championship caliber team, so you should not be given that bonus mulligan to have another shot at winning a championship. And that's just one of the many things that I'm sure is on the table at this summit, if you will, that you were trying to tell me about before the show. So what we got going on, we got a bunch of people. I hear Tiger Woods is trying to save college football.
So this week, they're going to do a college football roundtable, and President Trump is chairing the group along with Ron DeSantis. But some of the people that got invited include, like you said, Tiger Woods. I don't know why he's there. But then some people that matter, like Nick Saban, Mac Brown, and Urban Meyer are going to be there.
Okay.
And they're going to try to fix college football. So I thought we should have our own little college football roundtable here, and we could all decide one thing we want to fix.
I'm going to ask you a question that you're probably unprepared to answer, but like, where does that go?
I think
like that's great that Donald Trump, Urban Meyer, Mac Brown, Tiger Woods, and Nick Saban are all like having a conversation about fixing college football. But like, once they hash out all of their ideas, then what?
I think like many conversations about politics in this country, it will lead to absolutely nowhere and to no change whatsoever. But I think we should have fun with it, and we should try to change college football.
They're having their meeting of the minds, and we're going to have ours.
Yes.
This is your
Both
segment.
meetings will have the same result.
Yes.
In my opinion. Yes.
Yeah. Both meetings are going to result in the college football playoff expanding to 1 million teams and just continuing this exercise in greed. I'll let you lead it off because this is your topic. Go for it.
Yes. So what I would change, my number one thing that I would like to change is the calendar and the schedule in general. I feel like the season needs to finish somewhere around January 1st. I'm someone who thinks that we should start treating the Rose Bowl like the Super Bowl of college football, and every game ends January 1st at the Rose Bowl as the national championship. That part of it I could do without, mainly ending the season somewhere around January 1.
Are you one of these people who really does not want the college football playoffs clashing with the NFL playoffs?
Yes, that is part of it.
Okay.
I feel like it's not good for college football because you can have your personal preference, but the NFL is king, and it's always going to overshadow the college football playoff if both playoffs are going on at the same time. So we could still have week 0, but the week 0 where only a dozen teams play and no teams that we care about play, I don't need that anymore. We need regular big games week 0. That's when the season needs to actually start, is then. We need to just move it all up as much as we can, and with this,
to August 15th,
we need to also eliminate the conference championships are going to have to go away due to this. I'm not someone who hates the conference championships, but in order to end the season earlier, they're going to have to go.
I guess my big issue with that, with what they got currently going on, is it's really easy to kind of just forget about the college football playoffs when all these games are a week and a half apart.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. Everything needs condensed more. So if we start the playoff where the conference championships normally started, we should be able to finish the season by somewhere around the first week of January if we stop having a week and a half and 2 weeks in between games. Just play them every week. Play them every weekend in December, national championship, first week of January.
This was the first year that I ever felt like I was a bigger fan of the NFL than college. And working with Rothman and Ice probably had a pretty significant influence on that, but also some of the changes in college football have kind of just sucked out some of the fun for me. And so because I was more so prioritizing the NFL this year, this is the very first year I've ever actually kind of felt that college football get out of my NFL playoff situation. Right. And so that's part of it. The 1.5 week layoffs in between games is a part of it. Also, I think we just have I'm sorry. Here we go again. This is the how many times since the Super Bowl am I going to get questioned for my love of ball? But I think we got too much. I don't need football on Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I can handle Saturday and Sundays, great. Monday Night Football, great. I like Thursday Night Football. But playing these playoff games on Wednesdays and Fridays and just completely overloading the week, and then at that point, too, the NFL's bleeding into Saturdays, and they got 4 games going on Saturdays. I'm just can we space this out a little bit, please?
Yeah, I don't want less football, but I don't want more games just because. I want more games that matter. And now that we have more teams making the playoff, we're just diluting the regular season. So we're just getting less games that matter.
And you know what it's turning into? And from a professional standpoint, just thinking about my career, I mentioned earlier in the show that I did radio in St. Louis, and I'll have some fun stories of St. Louis radio for you guys later on in the show. But one big reason, on top of many reasons why I wanted to work here, and I'm from here, and this station's meant a lot to me and was my motivation to get into the business to begin with. But having worked in St. Louis versus working here, I didn't love doing radio in a baseball market. I love baseball, but having to follow all of the games every single day, that is a significant heavier workload in terms of preparing radio shows and stuff like that.
Right.
And so having more space, I don't think you need games every night in order to create content for shows. So from an inside, no pun intended, inside baseball standpoint on radio, but we don't need games all the time, all night, every night. Like, we could space it out and just like the exclusivity also from a fan standpoint. Now I'm speaking, the exclusivity of it makes it way more appealing. Like, you have something to look forward to.
Right.
That creates like buzz and momentum and intrigue and drama. Like, there's so much less drama now in the sports universe that we have because everything is so oversaturated, again, because it's all just a giant exercise in greed, to the point where it's becoming distasteful, and it's kind of counterintuitive. If you're a big sports fan, you think the more sports the better, but you have less to look forward to now.
Yeah.
I wish it were spaced out more.
Baseball used to be the most popular sport in this country, and now it's the NFL. And I think the reason that is because society's attention span has just gotten so much shorter in that time, and it's like no one wants to keep track of 162 games. The common fan is like, I like the NFL. I'm getting my 16, 17 regular season games, and then we're moving on to the playoffs, and that's it. I don't want to have to go through the dog days of summer with my team. You don't have that in the NFL. There is no dog days of summer equivalent in the NFL schedule. And
they make it easier to be a fan. It's easier to be a fan of the NFL. The diehard MLB fans, it's harder to be a fan because there's more games. There's more things you got to pay attention to. If I can clock in every Sunday and there's only 10 games a year I got to pay attention to, that makes it a lot easier than tracking down 162 games across the entire season.
It does. And I don't want to completely undercut what I just said about like the radio standpoint, but from a fan standpoint, as I keep flip-flopping my perspective here, from the fan standpoint, when you're a baseball fan and your team doesn't play, the off days are boring. When you look up the schedule, you're like, oh man, I thought we had a game today. There's nothing to follow. And so like that's a little bit different than actually like preparing for work. But that's just something that stood out to me. Another thing too, as we get ready to hit a break, and Isaiah will dazzle us with his changes that he would like to make in the next segment. But actually, you know what? I lost my train of thought. Isaiah, you're on deck. Stick around, 97.1.
We're the highest rated sports radio station in America. There's no joke there. We just are. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
This weekend, I'm inviting you behind the scenes. Stop by our open house at Rosati Windows and see why we are the #1 replacement window company in Central Ohio. Visit our showroom and meet the people who stand behind our reputation. Then tour our factory and see all that goes into manufacturing our top-rated window. Visit this weekend and save 35% on windows ordered by March 31st. We're easy to find at 4200 Roberts Road, just east of 270.
Welcome back to That Lux Life. It's your boy, Will Winmore. Today's guest, the Millionaire Ball from the new Ohio Lottery Daily Draw game, Millionaire for Life. Hey-o! So if a player matches 5 numbers and the Millionaire Ball number, they win $1 million a year for life. Hey-o! Or $100,000 a year for life if they match just 5. Hey-o! Millionaire for Life is the game. Millionaire Ball is his name. Play Ohio's newest daily draw game for your chance to win for life. Players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly.
Aetna was there for me as I was going through a rough medical patch this year. I had peace of mind, which helped with my healing.
Those words from a real Aetna Medicare Advantage member speak to why U.S. News & World Report named us a best Medicare Advantage company. Because we show up on calls with members and doctors' offices when requested. We show up with the latest in online tools for easier access to healthcare. We show up for you. Because that's how healthier happens together. Member feedback has been edited for length and clarity.
Enjoy more ways to save at Kroger, like low prices in every aisle. And you can clip and save more with digital coupons in the Kroger app. Plus, you can earn fuel points to save up to $1 per gallon at the pump. So it's always easy to save big. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Savings may vary by state. Fuel restrictions apply. See site for details.
Save $1 each when you buy 5 or more select items during our Buy More, Save More event. Save on Oreos, General Mills cereal, and more with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
I'm Yolanda Harris. I'm a journalist at 10 TV News. I grew up here, and after 25 years of telling this community's stories, this place still means so much to me. When I'm not in the newsroom, I'm usually out supporting the same people and causes I care deeply about. I don't just report about our community, I belong to it. What happens here affects us all, and that's why we care so deeply about getting it right. And when local journalism is done right, it doesn't sit still. It moves. It moves you to act, to verify, to volunteer, to speak up or lend a hand. It moves your mind by challenging assumptions and offering new perspectives. It moves you forward by giving you the information to make decisions and thrive where you live. And yes, it moves your heart through the kind of human storytelling that stays with you wherever you are. And at 10 TV, we're here for all of it. These are the stories that move Central Ohio.
Join Rothman and Ice every Thursday at 2:30 for Gold Jacket Thursday.
Presented by the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
A new Hall of Famer joins the show every week, but not OJ because he's dead and probably a murderer. The Fan.
Hey, Max, you look absolutely dashing in that purple tie. Ready to harness the world?
You bet, Daisy. I'm ready as I'll ever be. And might I say, your purple tie really pops with your vest.
Thanks. I almost went with a cape, but didn't want to come across as pretentious.
Nonsense. Anyone in our line of work should rock a cape.
You might be onto something, Max.
Phew, so here we go. First day on the job. We've got this, right?
Right. Don't forget, we both graduated from Dogs Inc. with honors.
Which means I can guide my human around a busy city with ease.
And I can give my human a restful night.
I hope my human is kind and loving.
And I hope mine likes wet kisses and zoomies.
Ready to make a difference?
Born ready. Let's go.
Discover how extraordinary dogs like Daisy and Max change lives at no cost to the recipients. Visit dogsinc.org.
You know a thing or two about the moments in life that matter. You've seized those moments to embrace joy, accomplish great things, and build meaningful relationships. Is it time now to sit back and reflect on a life well lived? Maybe. Or maybe there's more to be done. Maybe this is the most important moment you've encountered yet. By volunteering with AmeriCorps Seniors, you can seize the moment, lend a hand, and get back more than you give. We connect you to local volunteer organizations with opportunities that fit your schedule and match your interests. Through AmeriCorps Seniors, you can support people in times of need and make your community stronger. You can become a companion to your older neighbors, brightening their days with friendship. You can even become a mentor for young people, serving as a role model and enriching their lives. Are you ready to seize your moment? Visit AmeriCorps.gov/yourmoment and get started today.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Right Way Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
Live, local, and still slightly drunk.
I'm not drunk, all right? I just have a speech impediment.
This is Fan Sports Sunday.
2 seconds after I throw it to break, I remember what my thought was. You made a point about how people like the NFL better because they don't want to follow 162 MLB games and all this stuff. I don't really like when people give the NFL like so much business credit. Oh, the NFL is so popular because they know what they're doing. They run this business the right way. It's like they just have the better sport. I think Americans just like football better, and I think it's kind of that simple because college football is second place.
That hasn't.
And they've done nothing but diminish themselves.
The NFL has been America's favorite sport for the past 30 years. They still had football before that, and people still liked baseball better.
Maybe it's a generational thing.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I think as a society right now, where we're at right now, we have really short attention spans, and it has to do with, the majority of people being like millennials and Gen Z, and we're more of a faster pace, we want what we want right now type of generation.
But the football is kind of just viewed as a cooler sport.
Yeah, but the point I'm trying to make is that wasn't always the case. In the 60s, 70s, 80s, and most of the 90s, people just liked baseball more. Pretty much all.
So what changed?
I think
because they played 162 back then too.
Well, technically they played 154, but whatever. Pretty much the same thing. I'm just saying. I think it's that art
in the 90s.
I don't know when they expanded. They expanded at some point. Maybe I could look up
those
when they
8 games
expanded.
made a giant difference.
I don't know why they did that, but no, I just think that
it's a week and a half.
The baby boomers and going into Gen X, they were not a microwave generation, and they were able to enjoy 162 games of regular season. And then the millennials came along and were like, no, we want stuff immediately, and we do not want to wait on anything.
Isaiah, what would you change about college football if you were at this meeting of the minds with Tiger Woods and Nick Saban?
There's so many things you could change, but the one that I'll focus on, and I talked a little bit about this during On the Money earlier, is I think the conferences, the super conferences, are probably one of the worst things that's happened in the past 5 years for college football. And the reason for this is because it's causing so many of the issues that we're all complaining about. The first one is I wish that we would just go back, and it doesn't have to be the exact way it was before, but if we could just get back to
16 Big East teams.
Yes. When there's 10 to 12 teams in each conference, like it used to be. And the reason is because then during the season, during a regular sports season, you can play the majority of the teams in your conference, which is insane that we went away from that. Right? How are we going to determine who's the best in the Big Ten if they don't all play each other? And so that would make, if they wanted to keep everything else the same, but went back to the same 10 or 11 teams to where you could actually play all the teams that are in your conference you're being compared against, then when the playoff rolls around and the committee is trying to designate, all right, who are we putting in the playoff? Well, who was first in the Big Ten? Did they beat everybody else in the conference? Yes. All right, they're in. Who was second in the Big Ten? Because right now, you can't really you can't compare the third and fourth best teams in the Big Ten because Ohio State this season won't even play Penn State. So how are we going to compare them when Ohio State plays Oregon, Texas, and Indiana, and Penn State doesn't play those same opponents? It's a lot harder to do a side-by-side comparison. The other reason I wanted to go back is because the one other thing that college football is really missing right now and we're getting away from that I think people are really, really going to hate, especially the next 5-10 years go down the line, if they keep the super conference thing, is there was something special about turning on your TV on a Saturday and seeing Ohio State playing a Big Ten team, a true traditional Big Ten team that they played the year before. Like, I loved watching Ohio State play Penn State on Halloween every single year and building that continuous rivalry.
Because then everybody's a rival.
Exactly. So every single team you play against, whether it's Illinois, Wisconsin, Penn State, think about how much those names meant to you 10 years ago. Ohio State and Wisconsin, Ohio State and Michigan State. How much does Ohio State and UCLA mean to you when they play every 3 years? Like, you can't build a rivalry that way. It has to be every single year. And so that's another portion of it too, is the big time rivalries, we're going to lose those in 10 years because we're playing such a rotating schedule constantly. And then trying to determine who's in the playoff is nearly impossible when they don't all play each other.
Yeah, like going to a different conference, like Nebraska and Oklahoma used to be a big rivalry back in the day. And now they're not in the same conference. It just doesn't exist anymore. They don't even schedule each other anymore. And then I know, like, when A&M originally went to the SEC and Texas was still in the Big 12, like, oh, are we just not going to have that Black Friday game anymore? And now they're in the same conference again. But it's like, I liked seeing Texas Tech and Texas A&M all in the same conference, and you had, like, that regional state rivalry of them all playing each other. And then once everyone got greedy with conference realignment, we just got... Rivalries is a big part of the tradition of college football, and tradition is one of college football's strong suits of what makes it great. And when we're just having conferences not make geographical sense and traditional rivals not playing anymore, it loses the magic of what is the fabric of college football.
That's the key variable here. The geographical nonsense that's going on, because I totally agree. The super conferences, they're not beneficial. They're not traditional, but I had thought when this stuff first started, I thought that there was a way, but if you was, we're gonna have two conferences, gonna be the Big Ten and the SEC, but both conferences are gonna have 24 teams in it. When those ideas first started getting and maybe that is the final destination, who knows?
I mean, we're getting there.
But when I first heard that, I didn't have a tremendous problem with it because I thought we were gonna kind of like Benjamin Button this thing and actually like travel backwards in time. I thought that the more teams that you put in a conference, that enables you to create divisions that are basically just the conferences that we used to have.
Yes.
And so you can have 32-team conferences, or whatever, like a 30-team conference, and you can just have 3 divisions of 10, and then we can basically just create the exact idea that we had in the early 2000s and the exact principle that Isaiah is talking about.
Yeah. Like, to illustrate it a little better, like if the Big Ten and what was the Pac-12 just merged and became one conference, but they traditionally played who they traditionally played in the conference that they were in. Like you would have a West division in the Big Ten and an East division in the Big Ten, and who was originally in the Big Ten would play each other, and who was originally in the Pac-12 would play each other.
Exactly. And so that could have worked. The problem is that all of those Pac-12 schools spread out to a bunch of different conferences. Yeah. And so the fact that I'm not worried about the number. I don't care if you have 30 teams in a conference. If you do, then you can just do 3 divisions like East, West, and Central. Fine. North, South, 3, 2, 1. North, South, and Central. Fine. That's all good and well. I'm not scared off by the numbers. But the fact that it doesn't make geographical sense, you can't really do that with the Big Ten. You have 18 teams in the Big Ten as it's currently constructed, and you have 4 teams that are multiple time zones away from the other ones.
From sea to shining sea. Rutgers to UCLA.
Literally. We see it in the commercial when they swoop over the entire country, and we see the entire geography of the country. So that's the problem, is that everybody is too spaced out. You had Stanford and Cal go to the ACC. You had 4 teams from the Pac-12 go to the Big Ten. You had a few of them trickle their way into the Big 12. So those schools are all so separated that you would kind of need to, in order to get to the destination that we're talking about where it could be tolerable, you would need to like reverse it back to the Pac-12 and then bring them all over together. So all of those schools would have to kind of migrate and travel together. So there is a way to do it. I don't think as presently constructed, we're in a good spot to do it now, but that would be fine because instead of doing this thing where you have, like I said, not every conference is created equal. Totally understand that, but you wouldn't need a 24-team playoff where you have the 6th best team in your conference making it to the playoff or a 30-team playoff or whatever. You don't need that because you can play everybody in your division, and then you can kind of like Premier League soccer this thing where we don't need to have necessarily a division championship because everybody played everybody, and whoever's at the top, they withstood the test of time better than everybody else. So then you can have, you're the division winner. Okay, well, we're going to take the division winner who beat all the other divisional opponents in the regular season when everybody played everybody round robin style, and it's going to become like pool play. So like that's your pool play, and then we're going to drop you in and you're going to play a team that already won their division. So that's like the knockout round. Your regular season knocked out everybody else. Whoever wins the division, they move on to the conference championship. And so you play the conference championship. Well, that knocks out, that's an elimination game too. And then that sets up the playoffs based off the conferences there. So we can get rid of this ridiculous playoff format that we have. But the problem, the square one issue that Isaiah brought up and you brought up as well is that the geography doesn't make sense for us to do that right now. I'm not scared of the super conferences. The problem is that the numbers the numbers are fine, whatever, but the geography doesn't make sense to do so because everybody's all over the place. And because of this type of travel, you can't have with UCLA, USC, Oregon, and Washington, you can't really have a situation where like they're playing like a couple games on the West Coast and then they're traveling all the way out to the East Coast and then they're kind of going to the Midwest. That doesn't make sense right now. So if everybody geographically could migrate together, you could do the West Coast division that you're talking about, but you can't do it right now.
Your idea makes sense, and I appreciate you bringing that up, Isaiah, but the toothpaste is already out of the tube when it comes to the greed and of conference realignment and we're going to this conference because their TV deal is better. We're never going to have common sense conferences.
Yeah, great idea, Isaiah.
It's the worst. It would make college football for the average fan so much more simpler. Like you don't have to know everything about college football to understand if you have a better record in your conference, then you're the number one team. And that's why the NFL is always king, is because it's simple for every person to understand. If you win your division, you're in. If you have a better record, you're in. College football, not that way.
One professional sports team came up with what is going to be remembered as a really, really good idea or a really, really bad idea, and we'll find out in 2 weeks. Stick around, 97.1.
The Big Nine was a sad, incomplete place. Enter Ohio State. The rest is history. The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
The Fan. Get Eco.
Hey, Aaron, what are those?
Those are what are known as toilets, Jerry.
I know they're toilets, but why are they sitting back to back like bookends?
Congratulations, Jerry. You said the magic word.
Get Eco.
Bookends? Bookends is the magic word?
Take a seat, Jerry.
I choose this one.
A good choice. That is the world's most luxurious toilet.
Really? How much is it?
$6,500, including installation.
What? For $6,500, this thing would have to iron my shirts, shine my shoes, and sing happy birthday to me.
Get Eco.
It does way more than that, Jerry.
I'm switching to the other one. How much is this one?
$650, including installation.
Wow, that's a great deal. What does it do?
It does exactly what you would expect, Jerry.
Huh. From $650 to $6,500. Eco has a toilet for everyone.
Giveaway plumbers, genius electricians, and you can always trust our HVAC technicians.
GetEco.com.
I take care of the kids, my dad, things at work, but I haven't made time to take care of what I need.
Millions of caregivers experience symptoms of anxiety and depression. Go to mentalhealthcareworks.org to learn how to get the support you deserve. A message from the American Psychiatric Association Foundation.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-718-4040. That's 800-718-4040. 800-718-4040.
Hey, Columbus, big news. For a limited time, get Uber One free for a full year so you can save on food and rides. That's a $96 value on us. Just use code Columbus. Get 1 year of $0 delivery fees, 10% off eligible food and grocery orders, and up to 6% Uber One credits on rides. Sign up for this limited time offer today using code Columbus and save big with Uber One. Offer valid through 3/31/26. Savings and $0 delivery fee on eligible orders and rides only. Fees and terms apply. See app for details.
After my accident, people warned me to slow down. I said, I don't know how. Thanks to my VA care team, I haven't.
At VA, we're using technology to help veterans recover faster and live their lives to the fullest. Learn more at vacareers.va.gov/PSA.
Broadcasting live from the McDaniel GM Superstore Studios, driving excellence since 1916. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. WBNS HD1 Columbus.
Good morning, I'm Isaiah Jacob. Last night, the CBJ took their second loss in a row since the Olympic break, dropping to the Islanders 4-3 in overtime. The Jackets will look to get back on track tomorrow night at 7 against the Rangers. Some upsets yesterday in college hoops as 16th-ranked Texas Tech knocked off number 4 Iowa State on the road 82-73. West Virginia beat 19th-ranked BYU 79-71, and St. Mary's came out on top against 9th-ranked Gonzaga 70-59. Today in hoops, the 13th-ranked Lady Buckeyes are kicking off the day with their game against Michigan State at noon. Then the men's team have an opportunity against another high-quality opponent at 1:30 when they host the 8th-ranked Purdue Boilermakers. Pre-game coverage begins right here on The Fan at 12:30. And in the NBA, the Cavs are on the road at 3:30 taking on the Brooklyn Nets. Right now, James Harden is questionable while Donovan Mitchell and Dean Wade are listed as out.
During weekend programming, pants are optional.
Look at my butt!
However, leather chairs may have been a bad choice. You're listening to Fan Sports Sunday.
All right, so one of the cool things about this trio that we have with this Cold War team is Dylan Gonzalez, Isaiah Jacob. Buckeye basketball coverage, I believe, begins in half an hour. But one of the cool things about this trio is that all three of us took different paths to get to the same destination. All of us wanting to be at this particular radio station and kind of having to go off the beaten path a little bit and kind of, take our own routes to get here. So I got a text yesterday that the radio show that I used to work on is now dead, which is the second time that it died. The first time that our radio show died was when I made the transition from St. Louis back here to Columbus. So I applied for the first time in 5 years I had ever seen a job availability at this radio station. So I applied for an interview here, but it was only for a part-time job. And so working a full-time job in St. Louis, I was like, man, I don't know if I can really justify it to myself to leave a full-time job for a part-time job. So I just wanted an interview because it was going to be the 4th of July was on a Thursday that year. So I scheduled an interview for the 5th of July. So Friday morning, I was already going to be here just because I always came home for the 4th of July. I just took the week off, came back home, hung out with friends, whatever. And so I now added on to this trip. I added on an interview here at the Fan. And so I scheduled that out probably 2 weeks in advance. A week before my interview here, again, for a part-time job that I'm not sure that I was going to be able to justify that I could actually take even if I was offered it. A week beforehand, our radio station in St. Louis, they ceased operations.
Oh, man.
So we went from, I'm using this interview as a networking opportunity to, wait a minute, I actually need a job. And so that totally changed my approach. And so the station ceased operations. I'm now preparing like crazy. I'm like, okay, this isn't just a part-time job. Like, this is a job that I actually need. And so now being able to, knowing how it all turned out, where started as like an update anchor, got to fill in for Colin on Rothman and Ice when Colin would be out traveling with the Buckeyes on the Fridays before Buckeye road games, and kind of parlaying that now into a full-time role as the Monday through Friday producer of Rothman and Ice. It's nice knowing that everything worked out, but that was the first time that our show in St. Louis died. And so a year goes by, so this would have been June of 2024, as we are now happy March 1st. The rent is due, by the way, for all of you. So make sure you get that in today. We got some bills to pay today. But so that would have been June into July of 2024. They revived the radio show a year later. So for June, July of 2025, they bring back the radio show. Obviously, I'm here now, so I'm no longer a part of it, but they bring it back in St. Louis, and the show has died once again as they have once again ceased operations. So if that gives you any indication of the path of my career to get to this point and how the stability of this place is a little bit different than the stability of that place, it's a comforting feeling, not only just the fulfillment of being able to work at the radio station that you've always wanted to, and now here we are, hosting some weekend programming. I've co-hosted Rothman and Ice a couple times, and so that's been a thrill. But and I won't get into all of the stories because a lot of them are like only like industry things that like probably you two could appreciate and like probably listeners wouldn't care about that much. But just to kind of paint the picture a little bit of the environment that I came from prior to getting here at 97.1 The Fan in Columbus, Ohio, I wanted to kind of put together a little bit of a game for you guys. Okay. So I wanted to put together, it was going to be 2 truths and a lie, which I thought was a pretty safe play for the 2 members of the show alongside of me, generation-wise, because I've tried to play this with Rothman a couple times, and the math of 2 truths and a lie somehow gets muddied up because he can't keep track of how many truths and how many lies there are. It's like, well, it should be 2 lies and a truth. It's like, that's not what the game is called. And then he starts telling stories. But as I was kind of building this game of just some St. Louis radio stories that I have for you guys just to see what you can and can't decipher, I got a little carried away with it. And so I got 3 truths and a lie for you. So I've queued up some American Idol music, if we can kind of has that as our little underlay here to kind of set the scene. I got 3 truths and 1 lie. So I'm going to give you guys 4 stories of what happened in St. Louis radio while I was working there. Okay. I already told you the business ceased operations twice in the past couple of years, so you can kind of get the sense that things were a little bit spooky over there. So here's the kind of a little bit of the background that I came up from. I got 3 truths and a lie. You two work together to try to decipher which one is the lie. I will say each story twice. All right, number 1. A local strip club was a sponsor of our radio show, and we once did a remote broadcast from the stage while the employees performed.
Oh, behave. Yeah. Yeah, baby. Yeah.
I'll say it one more time. A local strip club was a sponsor of our radio show, and we once did a remote broadcast from the stage while the employees performed. Premise number 2. I co-hosted multiple radio shows with a guy who I did not know was homeless.
Whoa.
I co-hosted multiple radio shows with a guy who I did not know was homeless. And by the way, all these premises are at the bottom of your show sheet, so just scroll all the way down.
I'm making notes for myself.
As the producer of the morning show, I once had to solo host the first 5 minutes of a show because both co-hosts were late.
That sounds like that could be a truth.
As the producer of the morning show, I once had to solo host the first 5 minutes of a show because both co-hosts were late. Premise number 4. One of my coworkers once pulled up his email to show me something work-related, but the most recent message in his inbox was an OnlyFans payment confirmation. One of my coworkers once pulled up his email to show me something work-related, but the most recent message in his inbox was an OnlyFans payment confirmation. Detect a lie.
All right. So we got strip club, homeless guy, morning show, fill-in, OnlyFans.
Work together, think out loud.
The one that sticks out to me at first is OnlyFans. I'm trying to remember its prevalence, or how long it's been prevalent for. Because Cole has been here for a minute. Was OnlyFans? Prevalent, thank you. If Cole was there like 4 years ago, was OnlyFans big then? I guess it probably was. OnlyFans has been around for a while.
I was there 22 to 24.
You see, the strip club and the OnlyFans story you feel like they're the most outrageous, but they're the most specific, so I don't think that they're lies.
Okay.
So then that brings me to, what was your co-host was homeless?
Homeless.
And the morning show thing, I think it's tough for two people to be late on the same day.
And you think, too, like, the other ones are so crazy, that one's the least crazy.
Yes.
It feels like maybe he wants us to pull that one in as a gimme, but in reality, maybe the other three are the crazy stories.
I think the lie is that his coworker was homeless. What do you think?
I think it might be double. I really like what you said about both being late the same day.
Yeah, I don't think chances of that are pretty low. So I want to go with his coworker being homeless.
Okay, coworker homeless.
That's the lie.
That is 100% true.
Oh my goodness.
Geez.
The lie was that we did not perform a show live from the stage of a show.
Darn it, I wanted that to be true.
I mean,
wanted that to be true.
You would think that it was so obvious that was the lie that I didn't want to pick it.
But on March 16th, if the Atlanta Hawks want to bring me out to co-host their Hawks AF podcast, I can do a show live from perhaps a strip club, as Magic City is going to be taking over at Atlanta that day.
Isn't that the place that Lou Williams broke out of the bubble to get wings from, or that's the story?
That is correct.
Okay.
So Lou Williams, who I don't know if he was playing for the Hawks at the time because he kind of became a journeyman at the end of his career.
Say he was with the Clippers then, who were in the bubble?
The bubble was in Orlando.
Yes.
He escaped the bubble during the playoffs. This would have been 2020, so this was like
summer 2020 when they had to restart.
Yeah. So regardless of how you felt about COVID at a certain people started to kind of wane on it 2021, 2022. This was still at the point where everybody was concerned about COVID.
Right.
And Lou Will, I don't know if he drove or took a PJ to Atlanta, but apparently he wanted a very specific meal. So he went and got his wings from Magic City. And so everyone's talking about, oh, Lou Will went to he left the bubble for a strip club. What's that all about? And he's like, no, man, I was just trying to pick up some food. Just walked in, got my food, left.
All right, here's the full story. I just looked it up. He was with the Clippers. He got approved to leave to attend a funeral, but then on his way back decided to stop by the kitchen of Magic City and get some wings. And he was photographed there, and that's how he was caught.
Okay. Well, hey, look,
but now he has lemon pepper Lou wings at the strip club now. He now has a menu item, so I think it was worth it.
If you're already there, if you're already on the road, what's the big deal if you just stop by and pick up some food? But for those of you who are interested in going to the Hawks Magic game on March 16th, it is going to be Magic City night. Now, the problem with this is, for obvious problems, although to my knowledge from reading the story, the only Magic City employees that are going to be performing is the DJ. So DJ Esco, I believe his name, is going to be accompanied by T.I., and they're going to have a halftime performance. I believe there are going to be some Magic City hoodies that are going to be given away. There are going to be some wings on the menu that are going to be some Magic City specials. But Magic City night with the Atlanta Hawks and Orlando Magic game, that is how they are welcoming in the Orlando Magic by hosting Magic City night on Monday, March 16th. Jacob Reimer is going to come crash the studio. We'll ask him what he's going to be up to on March 16th and talk some Buckeyes and Boilermakers next. Stick around, Fan Sports Sunday.
The only workplace in America to participate in the Doorknob Fart Game. And we also play office basketball and sometimes do radio. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Low testosterone can be a real problem for many men. It causes poor sleep patterns, decreased energy, low sex drive, and it makes it really hard to stay in shape. And as we all know, a healthy body is very important to our overall health and well-being. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, and if some or all of these symptoms sound like you, we can likely help you be done with low T. We can also help you lose weight, support your metabolism, improve your gains in the gym, and more with our new targeted body composition plans featuring GH peptides, NAD+, GLP-1s, and more. Our low T protocols, applied in conjunction with our body composition plans, will help most men see real improvements, true weight loss, higher energy, improved sleep, stronger workouts, and a renewed sex drive as well. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on treatment the same day, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
Veterans and active duty service members. When your call to service ends, your mission doesn't have to. Go from GI to IT in just a few months at My Computer Career. Prepare for a high-demand career in cybersecurity, protecting people, systems, and institutions from real cyber threats. Cyber warriors are needed now. Will you answer the call? Go to mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to learn more. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. An Elite CompTIA certification partner. VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
Open the door to big savings at Menards. Mastercraft has been making high-quality doors for more than 50 years. Choose from our huge in-stock selection or design your door your way with our free step-by-step design program. And get your new door in 7 days or less. Save big money on Mastercraft doors. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Looking to sell your home? Don't pay 6% commission. Call my guys at Sell for 1% Realtors. They're full service, not a do-it-yourself kind of thing. On average, customers save over $10,000. Give them a call, 614-451-6616. That's 451-6616.
This weekend, I'm inviting you behind the scenes. Stop by our open house at Rosati Windows and see why we are the #1 replacement window company in Central Ohio. Visit our showroom and meet the people who stand behind our reputation. Then tour our factory and see all that goes into manufacturing our top-rated window. Visit this weekend and save 35% on windows ordered by March 31st. We're easy to find at 4200 Roberts Road, just east of 270.
What would it take for my child to only miss half a day of school for treatment?
What would it take to fund a cure for childhood cancer?
It would take all of us to come together to support the research. Join us. Go to childrenscancer.org today.
Welcome back to That Lux Life. It's your boy, Will Winmore. Today's guest, the Millionaire Ball from the new Ohio Lottery Daily Draw game, Millionaire for Life. Hey-o! So if a player matches 5 numbers and the Millionaire Ball number, they win $1 million a year for life. Hey-o! Or $100,000 a year for life if they match just 5. Hey-o! Millionaire for Life is the game. Millionaire Ball is his name. Play Ohio's newest daily draw game for your chance to win for life. Players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly.
Hi, it's Common Man.
And T-Bone.
Pizza Madness is coming for your face.
Yeah, the brackets will be revealed March 2nd.
Why can't I say it?
I don't know.
PizzaMadness.pizza to suggest your favorite pizza place.
It's all brought to you by Billiards Plus.
It's Skyway time at Skyline Chili. Come get your Skyline 3, 4, or 5-way with 50% extra cheese at no extra charge. Regular and large ways only at participating Skyline restaurants for a limited time.
We are the keepers of the wild, America's original and most invested conservationists. For more than 80 years, we've been committed to conserving wildlife and the natural landscapes that define our nation. From rugged alpine ridgelines to peaceful tall grass prairies, we've supported the conservation of more than 36 million acres of American wildlands. Our funding has led to cleaner water, fresher air, and improved wildlife habitat. From abundant fish and waterfowl populations to robust deer and elk herds, nothing is more important than maintaining wild spaces for adventurers to explore and wildlife to thrive. We are America's hunters and target shooters, stewards of the American outdoors.
America's hunters and target shooters, along with firearm, ammunition, and archery manufacturers, have invested more than $46 billion to help state fish and wildlife agencies manage and protect wildlife and wild lands across America. For more information, visit OutdoorStewards.org.
At St. Jude, every innovation we make is a moment we give to children with cancer everywhere. But we can't do it without you.
Learn more at stjude.org.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Mostly sunny skies on the forecast here for today, but it is going to be a lot colder with highs only in the upper 30s. As we look ahead to tomorrow, we could see some light snow showers in the morning, mainly south of I-70, highs in the lower 40s, and then we're back up into the 50s here on Tuesday, but rain is likely, and we are going to be tracking more rain here for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And that's a look at your 10 weather impact forecast. I'm meteorologist Aaron White here on 97.1 The Fan.
Catch T-Bone and Tyvis weekday mornings from 6 to 9. If you're not completely satisfied, we'll rewind time and erase your brain. For real, The Fan. Sports talk, weekend style. You're listening to Fan Sports Sunday.
At 27:40, Isaiah's going to throw it to break whether I'm mid-sentence or not. So if I'm mid-sentence, that's on me, not on him.
We'll end the show.
I have co-hosted radio with a homeless guy before. Jacob Reimer was not one of them. Hello.
Come on.
See, this is my bad.
I wanted to ask you, too, but before we got into this.
No, you did the right thing. Let me sink or swim on my own, and I sunk because I didn't have Jacob's microphone turned up.
It's too bad for you guys that I wasn't in here because I did know that answer, that he has co-hosted with a homeless guy.
I didn't want to
I've already told that story?
Yes.
You told me that, yes.
All right, well, here's the story about it. So first of all, he was kind of a tag-along for the guy who they actually wanted to have a segment with. He was childhood good friends with a guy who was a former first-round pick and the radio color commentator from Mizzou. And
gotcha. So kind of how, like, Tyvis got this job just because he was Cardell Jones' roommate.
I mean, my goodness. I mean, didn't the Seahawks cut you twice?
Oh, my gosh. That was off the top.
Now, like,
oh my goodness.
We make fun of Tyvis because he's achieved more in life than we all have.
For sure.
He's just good at laughing at himself.
Yes.
So that's why we make fun of him, not because we actually think that we're better than him. He's just good at laughing at himself.
And he's buns at Papa Shot.
That's your own competition. I can't make fun of him. I went to the hot Pilates with him, and I left the class with 5 minutes to go, and he stuck it all the way through.
He's got respect for that then.
So he's got me on that. But so the homeless guy that I co-hosted radio with, I didn't know that he was homeless, but apparently the story goes. But I did know that like he was kind of like a grifter and kind of like a fraud because he was kind of like had barely done radio, like had a cup of coffee in the radio industry, but was childhood friends with the guy who they actually wanted to have, like an actual former NFL player who they wanted to have on the segment. And so somehow, bringing on the former first-round pick turned into like, all right, well, I guess we'll have both of you on and we'll make a segment out of it and stuff like that. So one of the guys had a key to the building to get in, and one of the guys had to keep knocking on the door every single time that he showed up. So you can kind of tell that he was kind of a tag-along and wasn't really viewed as one of the guys who they wanted to have on. But so as the story was told to me, and this just goes to show that he was like kind of a shady guy. He who also like just lied about his background and stuff like this. So like he would put in his social media, he would put our radio station like in all of his social media bios. So like, kind of like cosplaying a radio host, but really he had like one segment a week. And so Monday through Thursday, he was a radio texter. And on Friday, he got to play co-host for a day or something like that. So, it's like playing dress up. But apparently in COVID, there was like a freeze period on your rent where like you didn't have to pay rent or something like that. I would have loved to have known about this, but so he saw this as his golden opportunity to not have to pay rent to his apartment complex. The very day that apartment complex lifted the freeze, knocking on the front door, hey, you haven't been paying, you're out of here. So he had to start living out of his car for a little bit. And he was just a weird dude, man. Like some of his behavior, he would show up to remotes, like trying to get on the air, like trying to make nice with whatever host was there. He was always trying to get a free meal. And so he would always like try to act like he was an employee of the station so he could show up and start like ordering food with people. And like he totally blew a sponsorship for us one time because he showed up to a remote broadcast on a show that he was never even on, but it was a weekend show. So he kind of thought that the rules would be a little bit looser. And so he showed up, he grabbed a menu, and he waves over someone who he thinks is a waiter, and he starts ordering the left side of the menu. Turns out that it was actually the owner of the restaurant who felt a little bit disrespected by that, and so they no longer wanted to do business with us because of that.
That is tough.
And I co-hosted radio with this dude having no clue that he was homeless. Also having no clue that he completely lied about his background in radio and was kind of just a tag-along.
I thought you knocking was him knocking on the door to get into the building at the station.
He needed a place to sleep.
There was a lot of that too. There was a lot of walking by the window and just like waving to people, trying to like flag them down. Hey, then like pointing to the door like, hey, can you let me in? So Jacob Reimer was not the homeless guy who I've worked with in radio. That was somebody else.
Well, I invited Reimer. Well, Reimer said he had a beef with us about Miami of Ohio, so I wanted him to be able to get that takeoff. But then I also
about me or him.
We also
I guess kind of both.
Well, go ahead with that, and then I'll ask my second question.
So you guys,
2.5 minutes.
Because you guys were talking about the Bruce Pro comments and everything about how they need to win their conference tournament to get in, and he's basically advocating for Auburn, who, by the way, if they somehow get in, like that would be an awful mistake because they're basically a 500 team. Like it's not good. But I think that no matter what, like they should be in right now. Like it does. Like I know that they're in the MAC.
Yeah.
If you put them in the SEC right now, they will beat some of those bottom tier teams in the SEC.
Oh, so you're saying we weren't giving them enough credit?
Auburn would be favored on a neutral court. Yes, that I think that. But
if Auburn traveled to Oxford,
it would be. I still think it'd be a very competitive game. Yes, I think it would be a very competitive game.
All right, real quick, today's game.
Yeah.
Are we labeling it a must-win for the Buckeyes against Purdue? Okay, it is a must-win. So do you see no path for them? You think they would need to win the Big Ten tournament if they lose today?
No,
because I think the way I nailed it down earlier was they would probably need to win 2, maybe 3 games in the Big Ten tournament, along with their Penn State and Indiana wins.
Yeah, you got to take care of Penn State and Indiana for sure. And yeah, probably 2. I think right now you're slotted in the 9 seed, which would give you a matchup, would give you 2 games, hopefully, in a rematch with Iowa on a neutral court, which would be a quad 1 opportunity. So if you're able to pick that off and then maybe competing against Michigan in the 1 versus 9 matchup, then I feel like you might maybe have a chance.
Would that be the quarterfinal?
That'd be the quarterfinal, yeah. So there's still definitely room for opportunity. If you look good today, you respond well from that Iowa loss and have a shot, I feel like you're still giving yourself a chance to find a way in.
Is this quad 1 BS like the end all be all in that committee room, or like how much does style points? Because like the Iowa loss was so bad.
Yeah.
How do they weigh this?
Yes, it is, but it's also WAB, which is wins above bubble, wins against other tournament teams. And right now Ohio State has the Wisconsin one, which is I think that's really the only one. So they need to find a way to get this. Indiana is a borderline tournament team, too. If they can get one in the Big Ten tournament, that's helping their case.
So is the Indiana game at the end of the season kind of like do or die for both teams?
Yes, absolutely. It'll have major weight on Selection Sunday.
Okay, so we were complaining earlier about Wisconsin and how like that's not a quad 1 win because they're barely on the outside looking in, yet Northwestern, who's like 5-13 in the conference.
The quad 1 metrics are very weird.
Exactly, and they're just so arbitrarily chosen. So I'm upset about that, but Buckeyes and Purdue are coming up. Brandon Beam and Jacob Reimer, they take the microphones next. 97.1.
Matty Ice has a large tattoo on his calf of LeBron eating a lion. I have nothing else to say. Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays from